Julieta running away every day to meet her junkie friends. In a fit of rage, he breaks up with her, leaves the car, and decides to use the subway instead. Hours later, as Julieta is having drinks in a bar, a news channel reports that there was a deadly chemical attack in the subway, which has claimed the lives of more than 30 people. This scares Juliet, as she realizes that Jack was in the same subway. Hence, she immediately rushes to see him. In the next scene, Juliet arrives at the hospital, where Jack is admitted in the intensive care unit. His larynx and trachea were burned because of the chemical attack, leaving him unable to speak. Juliet goes near his room, which is separated by a thick layer of plastic, and apologizes for what happened. In response, Jack used a whiteboard and a marker to express his emotions. Even in this critical state, he mentions that he loves her, and asks her to never give up. This makes Juliet hopeful of his survival. However, the next morning, when she enters his room, she learns that Jack passed away due to his injuries, leaving her utterly devastated. The movie then flashes back to the present, where Juliet finally regains consciousness. She feels a sharp pain in her leg as a bone appears to be sticking out. To make matters worse, her gun is a few feet away from her. Since it is already nighttime, Juliet fears that the nick of time. Juliet turns on the headlights, causing the Reaper to run away in agony. After this, she again receives a call from Harry, who mentions that he has tracked her location. But unfortunately, he won't be able to arrive until the morning, as it is too dangerous. Right now. This leaves Juliet devastated, as she realizes that she is on her own now. A while later, she hears a vehicle pass by, so she desperately honks the horn for help. A man hears it and approaches her van. Unfortunately, he turns out to be a cannibal. He forcibly enters the van and attempts to stab Juliet, but right then, the Reaper shows up. It menacingly drags the man out and kills him. As the Reaper feasts on the cannibal, Juliette thinks of committing the unthinkable, but then she remembers Jacotem's final words, who asked her to never give up. This gives her enough motivation to keep living, so she decides to fight back. In a final act of desperation, Juliet brings out 2 fuel canisters. She then lights a flare and waves it around to attract the Reaper. When it eventually shows up, she leads it to the gas containers. Juliet then strategically shoots at them, causing them to explode. But to her dismay, the cunning Reaper manages to run away without being harmed. After this, a fight ensues between the two. The Reaper keeps dragging Julieta around, but for some reason doesn't harm her. Taking advantage of this, she shoots it twice.